For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
In the treacherous spring of 1978, 52-year-old Walter "Walt" Grimsby, a small claim prospector, was deep within his drift mine off the 40 Mile River in interior Alaska. He radioed about unstable timbers during breakup season, and then silence. Despite an extensive search across the rugged wilderness and into the mine's labyrinthine passages, Walt vanished without a trace. His truck remained, his tools lay where he left them, but Grimsby was gone. For 47 agonizing years, the vast, unforgiving Alaskan landscape held its secrets, leaving his family with profound, agonizing uncertainty. Then, almost 5 decades later, in the crumbling darkness of the very mine he worked, a discovery was made: a cracked wristwatch wedged deep in collapsed lagging. This is the complete investigation into what happened to Walter "Walt" Grimsby, a gold miner swallowed by the Alaskan earth. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from, and if you enjoy this content, consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's continue. The interior of Alaska, a landscape of immense scale and brutal beauty, has long drawn those with an unyielding spirit. Individuals willing to pit their will against an unforgiving wilderness in pursuit of fortune. Here, amidst the jagged peaks and ancient forests, the 40 Mile River region stands as a testament to the enduring allure of gold, its banks scarred by generations of prospectors. It was into this demanding environment, in the spring of 1978, that Walter Grimsby, a 52-year-old small claim prospector, dedicated his working life. Known to many simply as Walt, he embodied the rugged individualism that defined Alaskan miners, driven by the elusive promise of the Earth's hidden riches. Grimsby's claim was a drift mine, a horizontal tunnel burrowed into the permafrost and rock, located off a remote tributary of the 40 Mile River. Drift mining, while less intensive than open-pit operations, presented its own unique set of dangers. The structural integrity of underground passages was constantly at risk, particularly in a region prone to seismic activity and extreme temperature fluctuations. The spring of 1978 brought the annual breakup season, a period of profound geological instability, as vast quantities of ice melted, saturating the ground and increasing pressure on subterranean structures. It was a time when the very earth seemed to shift beneath one's feet, amplifying the inherent risks for any miner working underground. On one such day, as the thaw progressed, Grimsby transmitted a chilling final communication. His radio call, crackling through the remote Alaskan airwaves, reported unstable timbers deep within his mine. The message was brief, urgent, and underscored the immediate peril he faced. Then, silence. Walter Grimsby was never seen again. His disappearance left behind a profound mystery, an empty claim, and an absence of definitive evidence or a body, sowing the seeds of a cold case that would persist for decades. The silence that followed Walt Grimsby's final radio transmission immediately triggered a localized alarm. Fellow prospectors, scattered across the vast 40-mile district, initiated an informal search, their small planes and canoes covering a wide radius around Grimsby's claim. News eventually reached the nearest authorities, likely the Alaska State Troopers operating out of Fairbanks or Tok, and possibly the Bureau of Land Management, which oversaw the federal lands where Grimsby's mine lay. Their response, however, was hampered by the sheer scale of the Alaskan wilderness and the primitive technology of 1978. The spring breakup season, which had likely contributed to the mine's instability, also made ground travel treacherous, turning rivers into raging torrents and trails into muddy quagmires. Search parties faced miles of trackless terrain, often impassable except by air or specialized vehicle. Resources were minimal: few personnel, basic communication equipment, and no advanced tracking or mapping technologies to aid in locating a man lost in such a remote and dangerous environment. Initial theories centered on an accident within the mine. The reported unstable timbers strongly suggested a catastrophic collapse, potentially burying Grimsby alive within the labyrinthine passages. Other possibilities, though less likely given his radio call, included an accident in the unforgiving outdoor environment, a fall or exposure. The idea of foul play, while always a consideration in isolated regions, had little immediate evidence to support it, especially with the clear warning of structural failure. However, despite diligent efforts, no trace of Walter Grimsby was found. The mine entrance itself, a portal to the subterranean world, offered no immediate answers. No body, no personal effects beyond what he might have carried, no clear signs of struggle or forced entry were discovered. The vastness of the area swallowed any potential clues, leaving investigators with nothing but the chilling radio message and a vanished man. As days turned into weeks and the harsh Alaskan summer gave way to autumn, the active search wound down. The absence of any definitive evidence, combined with the extreme logistical challenges and the inherent dangers of exploring a potentially unstable mine without proper equipment, meant the investigation slowly ground to a halt. Walter Grimsby's name was added to the growing list of those lost to the Alaskan frontier, his disappearance becoming a cold case, a silent testament to the perils of the gold seeker's life. As the Alaskan seasons relentlessly cycled, one year blurred into the next, and the initial urgency surrounding Walter Grimsby's disappearance slowly faded into the vast silence of the wilderness. Decades accumulated, each passing spring bringing no new thaw of information, each winter burying the mystery deeper under layers of snow and forgotten files. From 1978, a full 47 years would elapse, a significant span of human history unfolding, while Grimsby's fate remained an open wound in the collective memory of the 40 Mile district. The story of the prospector who vanished after reporting unstable timbers became a local legend, whispered around campfires, a cautionary tale among those who continued to seek their fortunes in the unforgiving interior. For others, particularly outside the immediate mining community, Grimsby's case became little more than a dusty entry in a missing persons database, one of many unresolved disappearances in a state known for its vast, untamed spaces. The initial flurry of investigative activity, hampered by the remote location and limited resources, had long since ceased, leaving behind only unanswered questions. For those few who had known Grimsby, or who had participated in the fruitless early searches, the silence was profound. It was a silence that spoke of unfulfilled promises, of a life abruptly cut short, and of the gnawing frustration of not knowing. There was no closure, no grave to visit, only the stark reality of an absence that time could not fill. The wilderness, which had offered Grimsby a dream, had ultimately claimed him without explanation, leaving behind a void that no amount of speculation could bridge. The case remained officially unsolved, categorized as a missing person, dormant and unresponsive to the limited forensic capabilities of the era. With no new leads to pursue, no body to examine, and no fresh evidence emerging from the depths of the abandoned mine, the investigation reached an impasse that seemed insurmountable. The drift mine itself, once the focus of desperate searches, gradually succumbed to the elements, its entrance perhaps collapsing further, its timbers rotting, slowly being reclaimed by the earth. It became another forgotten scar on the landscape, a silent monument to a mystery that appeared destined to remain forever buried beneath the Alaskan permafrost, a cold case that offered no hope of ever being thawed. The passage of 47 years had transformed the remote 40 Mile River region. What was once a relatively active mining district had largely receded into the wilderness, its trails overgrown, its claims abandoned. The drift mine where Walter Grimsby had vanished was no exception, its entrance obscured by decades of snowfall, rock slides, and the slow, relentless reclamation by nature. Yet in the modern era, the Bureau of Land Management maintained a presence, regularly surveying federal lands. It was during one such routine assessment in the present day that BLM Ranger Aki Tuller navigated the challenging terrain, her mission to document the condition of old mining sites and mitigate potential hazards. Tuller, with years of experience traversing Alaska's backcountry, eventually located the long-forgotten entrance to Grimsby's claim. The timbers Grimsby had reported as unstable had long since given way, creating a partial collapse that had sealed off much of the mine's interior. Cautiously, and equipped with modern safety gear, Tuller ventured into the initial accessible sections. The air was still heavy with the scent of damp earth and mineral. Deep within a lateral stope, an excavated chamber where ore had been removed, and partially concealed by sections of collapsed lagging, the timber planks used to support the mine roof and walls, a glint caught her eye. Wedged precariously between a large rockfall and a remaining section of timber was a small metallic object. It was a wristwatch, its crystal cracked and discolored, its metal casing tarnished green with age, its leather strap long since disintegrated. The hands were frozen, fixed at a time that had no meaning. Carefully, Tuller retrieved the timepiece, recognizing its potential significance in such a remote, abandoned location. Back at the BLM field office, forensic examination of the watch, though challenging due to its age and degradation, yielded crucial information. Engraved on the back of the casing, beneath layers of grime, were the faint initials WG. Further investigation, cross-referencing with historical missing persons records and mining claims from 1978, confirmed what Tuller suspected. The watch belonged to Walter Grimsby. This unassuming, damaged timepiece, discovered nearly half a century after Grimsby's disappearance, represented the first tangible evidence in what had become an intractable cold case. It was a silent witness, a relic from a moment frozen in time, and its emergence from the forgotten depths of the mine reignited a flicker of hope. The mystery of Walter Grimsby's fate, long dormant, was suddenly, powerfully reopened. The discovery of Walter Grimsby's watch, almost 5 decades after his vanishing, irrevocably altered the status of his case. What had long been a cold file relegated to the annals of unsolved Alaskan mysteries was now a live investigation. The initial analysis of the timepiece, confirming its owner, became the catalyst for a concerted effort to finally unearth the truth of Grimsby's fate. This renewed push required a multidisciplinary approach, drawing on specialized expertise to navigate the unique challenges presented by a remote abandoned mine and an incident almost 50 years in the past. Leading the on-site efforts was BLM Ranger Aki Tuller, whose initial discovery had brought the case back to life. Her role extended beyond merely finding the artifact. As a federal land manager, she became central to securing the site, coordinating access, and ensuring the safety of subsequent investigative teams in the treacherous environment. The Bureau of Land Management's jurisdiction over the area made her insights into the terrain and its history invaluable. To piece together the geological and structural context of Grimsby's mine, the investigative team enlisted the knowledge of Cordelia Pike, a respected mine historian. Pike's expertise lay in the construction methods and typical dangers of early 20th century Alaskan drift mines, offering crucial insights into how such a collapse might have occurred and what structural elements might still exist or be compromised. Accessing the remote 40-mile river region remained a significant hurdle. The vast distances and lack of established infrastructure necessitated the involvement of individuals like Jonah Iverson, a seasoned Alaskan pilot. Iverson's intimate knowledge of the interior's volatile weather patterns and treacherous landing strips made him indispensable for transporting personnel, equipment, and subsequently any collected evidence to and from the isolated mine site. The challenges confronting this new investigation were formidable. Decades of natural degradation, exacerbated by the harsh Alaskan climate, had rendered the mine even more unstable than it had been in 1978. Permafrost thaw, rockfalls, and the natural decay of timber supports presented immense safety risks. The primary questions revolved around the watch itself. Where exactly was it found in relation to the reported unstable timbers? Could its position indicate a point of impact or a specific location within the mine where Grimsby might have been? Investigators understood that to move beyond speculation, they would require more than historical knowledge and physical observation. Advanced technological solutions would be essential to pierce through the layers of time and debris. The abandoned drift mine, unstable and degraded by nearly 5 decades of natural processes, presented an insurmountable obstacle to traditional investigation. Physical entry into its deepest reaches was deemed too hazardous, risking further collapse and endangering the modern search teams. To overcome this critical limitation, investigators turned to cutting-edge technology, LiDAR, or light detection and ranging. This remote sensing method, which uses pulsed laser light to measure distances, allowed for the creation of precise, three-dimensional maps of the mine's interior without requiring human presence within its most dangerous sections. From a safe distance, the LiDAR system meticulously scanned the subterranean passages, piercing through the accumulated debris and mapping the structural integrity, or lack thereof, of the ancient tunnels. The resulting LiDAR data revealed a crucial, previously unmapped feature: an old Windsor. This vertical or steeply inclined shaft, likely a forgotten relic of earlier mining efforts, was not visible from the accessible sections of the mine. More significantly, the LiDAR trace indicated that this Windsor intersected a zone of active permafrost thaw. Permafrost, the perpetually frozen ground beneath Alaska's surface, provides structural stability for underground excavations. Its thaw, especially during the breakup season, Grimsby reported, introduces immense instability, turning solid ground into a treacherous, shifting mass, highly prone to collapse. Simultaneously, forensic analysts focused on the watch itself. Meticulous examination of the cracked crystal and tarnished casing revealed microscopic traces of silica dust. This dust, embedded within the watch's damaged surface, became a critical piece of the puzzle. Geologists then compared the unique mineral composition of this silica dust to samples taken from various veins within Grimsby's mine. The analysis yielded a definitive match, confirming that the dust on the watch originated from a specific, geologically distinct vein within the very mine where Grimsby had worked. The convergence of these two extraordinary findings provided the breakthrough the investigation desperately needed. The LiDAR data pinpointed a structural weakness: the old winds intersecting permafrost thaw, a likely point of catastrophic failure. The silica dust match, linking the watch to a specific geological signature within the mine, provided a physical connection to that environment. Together, these elements tightened the likely fall corridor, directing the investigators to a precise area where Walter Grimsby could have fallen, lost within the collapsing earth, nearly half a century prior. The convergence of the LiDAR imaging and the forensic analysis of the silica dust finally unveiled the long-obscured truth behind Walter Grimsby's disappearance. The definitive conclusion, pieced together from these disparate yet interlocking clues, indicated that Grimsby's final radio call about unstable timbers was a harbinger of his own demise. He had almost certainly fallen into the old winds, a hidden shaft rendered treacherous and perhaps obscured by the very permafrost thaw he had reported during that fateful breakup season. The ground, destabilized by the melting ice and the inherent weakness of the ancient shaft, had given way beneath him. The cracked wristwatch, later found wedged in a stope beside collapsed lagging, was not merely a forgotten relic, but a silent witness to this catastrophic event, dislodged from his person during the fall or the subsequent immediate collapse of the surrounding mine structure. After nearly 5 decades of unanswered questions and lingering uncertainty, the case of Walter Grimsby found its resolution. While his body was not explicitly recovered, the evidence pointed conclusively to an accidental death within the mine, a tragic consequence of the perilous environment he had chosen to call his workplace. The closure, though somber, was profound for a cold case that had defied explanation for so long. This outcome was a testament to the dedication of individuals like BLM Ranger Aki Tulla, whose initial discovery sparked the renewed investigation; mine historian Cordelia Pike, whose understanding of historical mining practices provided vital context; and pilot Jonah Iverson, whose logistical support enabled access to the remote site. Their combined efforts, augmented by the precise capabilities of modern forensic technology, had finally given a voice to a man lost to the Alaskan wilderness. Walter Grimsby's watch became more than just a piece of evidence. It was a poignant symbol of his final moments, a tangible link to a past that had stubbornly refused to yield its secrets. His story, once a local legend of a prospector vanished, now stood as a stark reminder of the inherent dangers that have always accompanied the allure of gold in the Alaskan frontier. It underscored the relentless power of nature and the profound risks taken by those who chase its riches. Yet it also highlighted the enduring capacity of human ingenuity and technological advancement to pierce through the veil of time, bringing answers to even the oldest, most remote, and seemingly irresolvable mysteries.